Hi guys, my name is Samantha. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about books, specifically books that I'm excited for 2025. Honestly, I kind of just want this to be a little chit-chatty video about books. It's been a while since I've just gotten to ramble about books. So get comfortable, join me in drinking something delicious, and let's talk about some books. I think that I'm going to start this video off with anticipated releases for 2025, and I'm sure you guys have already seen a couple of them, so I'm going to start off with books that I don't think you guys have heard about, or books that are very niche to me. Let's jump into it. The first one is A Curse Carved in Stone by Daniel L. Jensen. It comes out May 13th. This is a sequel to I forget the first book. I loved it. I love the first book. I think like halfway through, I agree with most people where it kind of dragged on a little bit, but by the end of it, the cliffhanger, it got me. And if you know anything about Daniel L. Jensen, she wrote the Traitor Queen series, which I read like 4 years ago. She's amazing at cliffhangers. She's amazing at cliffhangers. So that is that book. Basically, it is a Viking set fantasy where a female main character is married off to a king of another country because of an invader Viking situation, and it's because she has powers of foresight, and it's a little bit of like a forbidden romance, and there's some fantasy elements, some very interesting fantasy elements, lots of like witches and Viking magic, rune magic, which is really cool. I really enjoyed the setting of this one. I think that Viking is so hard to do. I also think that if you didn't have a good background and understanding in Vikings, this book may not be for you, because Daniel L. Jensen, I don't think, takes a lot of time in the world building. She does assume quite a bit about your knowledge on Vikings. But all that being said, this comes out on May 13th, and I'm excited. It's February. We're getting there. The next one is Fallen City by Adrienne Young, and that comes out on November 4th. I like Adrienne Young. I'm going to say that. I still need to read A Sea of Unspoken Things, which I'm reading this month, but I kind of like her ability to weave very casual, I like to call it casual magic, into her stories, and I don't think that this one's going to be any different. I think this one's going to be a goodie. This one should be a goodie. I'm going to look up, actually on Goodreads, what this one's about, because I haven't even done that. I just saw that she's like an auto by author right now, so I just saw that it was by her, and I was like, you know what? Add it to the list. The big thing about this too is like I'm ignoring my TBR. I'm not looking at it. Oh, this is part of a duology. Okay, in the great walled city of Azara, political turmoil ignites a rebellion 100 years in the making. But when a legionnaire falls in love with a magistrate's daughter, their love will threaten the fate of the city and the will of the gods. So it looks like kind of an ancient Greek Rome setting with forbidden love. I love it. All right, the next one of the ones I'm probably going to pre-order, one of the ones that I am most excited about is Alchemized by Sin Liu, which comes out September 30th. I am a Manacled fan. Manacled is a fan fiction Germani romance, Draco Hermione romance. It has the handmaiden vibes as far as her situation. I'm sorry, I say her, but Hermione's situation. Basically, Voldemort won. Everybody is dead. Hermione was put in a prison and is released to help create magical babies because nobody is making babies and Voldemort keeps killing people. Who would have thought? And of course, she gets paired up with Draco and chaos ensues. And it's beautiful and it's lovely and I love it. And I'm so excited that Sin Liu got a traditional publishing contract and is now traditionally publishing this, because that means I don't have to hand bind the original Manacled. I can just buy this book. And the cover is beautiful as well. Very Manacled, very fanfic, fan art, very fan arty, and I love that for her. The next one is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. This is coming out September 2nd, and this one was recommended by Jessie, who we read all of our books together. I wouldn't even call her like my favorite buddy reading friend, because I literally read almost every book with her. We just read together all the time. She reads like 5 books at a time, You can't do that right now. I could read one book. So it's like the books I'm reading for graduate school, my books, and then our buddy read. That's where I lie. All right, so this one is called Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross. Is born in the firelit domain of the underrealm, Matilda is the youngest goddess of her clan, blessed with humble messenger magic, but in a land where gods often kill each other to steal power and alliances break as quickly as they are forged, Matilda must come of age sooner than most. She may be known to carry words and letters through the realms, but she holds a secret that she must hide even from her dearest allies. And to complicate matters, there is a mortal boy who dreams of her. Oh, yeah. Okay, and this is the same author as Divine Rivals, which I just read and absolutely loved. So I'm here for it. This seems like the main character is a writer, which worked really well for Rebecca Ross in Divine Rivals. It worked really well for me, I guess is what I should say. And then the next one, which I'm very hesitant. I just found out about this book, but it is Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon, and it comes out September 16th. This is the third book in her, I forget what it's called, her like dragon fantasy series. The thing that I am very hesitant about is her other two books in this series are like 600 page in length. They are like Brandon Sanderson level. Where are those books? Oh, look there. They're like Brandon Sanderson level length, right? But this book is only 200 pages, which makes me a little suspicious. If you guys have any more information about this book, you should tell me down below. This book doesn't even have a cover, and it's supposed to be coming out in September, which I guess kind of makes sense. I don't know. I'm suspicious about this one, but it is in the radar. It is on my Amazon wish list to be pre-ordered, but we'll see how it goes. The next one, if you've been here for any amount of time, you know, cowboy romances. And I just finished Lost and Lassoed, and I'm like, right? Lost and Lassoed. It's up there on the other bookshelf. Wild and Wrangled by Layla Sage. And I'm excited about this one too. I'm always down for some reason, the Rebel Blue Ranch, which is the series, is always like rough and tough, wild cowboy meets sassy but caring and loving female protagonist. And I love it. And I'm here for it. And I will read as much as they want to write about the Rebel Blue Ranch. I think there's probably about two more couples, I think, in the works for this series, and I'm not mad about it. Plus the covers, like, I want to print these covers and put them on my walls. They're so retro and cute and like Western and cowboyish. I love these. I need to go to like FedEx and be like, can we print these just for me? Just for me. I don't know. I'm going to do that. I'm going to put down the artist for these covers down here, and just because I feel like they need a notice. They need some sort of like pat on the back. I love these covers. More so than like the rom-com cartoony ones, to be fair. The next one is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber, and this one comes out October 7th. And I don't know much about this one. It's Stephanie Garber though, and I really enjoyed Once Upon a Broken Heart, or what is that one called? Once Upon a Broken Heart, all right? And I haven't finished that series, but once again, I have to put it on the radar so I know that it's there. This one is, let me look it up for you guys. Alchemy of Secrets. Ooh. A graduate student in Holland is hoping to use her thesis to rewrite her past by proving that some of the most infamous deaths in old Hollywood were actual murders committed by the devil. She has no idea that this quest will lead her into a deadly world of century-old secrets and unimaginable lies, and onto the path of two very dangerous men, both of whom are willing to do whatever it takes to find a magic that will either forever alter Holland's life or completely destroy it. Yes. Oh, okay, so this is apparently an adult fantasy. So her other ones that I liked were YA fantasies. This is an adult fantasy, and I'm here for it. I always want to applaud any female authors who write adult fantasy, by the way, because it is so hard to break into it. Leigh Bardugo had a hard time breaking into adult fantasy, and we all love Leigh Bardugo. All right. In order for her writing to be considered fantasy, she had to write, ninth house, which is so graphic, like sometimes unnecessarily graphic. And I believe it's because she was trying to convince publishers to take her seriously as an adult fantasy writer. So whenever an author can go from YA to adult fantasy, I am here for them, especially females. All right. So Stephanie Garber's, you got me, girl. You got me. I will like literally just order that on principle. The next one is The Book That Held Her Heart by Mark Lawrence, which is an adult fantasy. By the way, it comes out April 8th. This one is the third in a trilogy. I think it's like The Book That Burned the World and The Book That Can't Be Burnt, something like that. I'll put it over here. I don't know what the trilogy is called. It is very weird. It is very like wild fantasy dream. It's almost like this library that's a whole world onto itself, and our main character is from an outlying district, town, whatever, colony. I don't remember quite exactly how they phrased it, but she gets taken to the main city, and she, through various incidences, ends up in this library studying, and it's like portal magic, timeline magic, illusion magic. Very interesting, very intriguing, very like wild dream, kind of fever dream kind of vibes. You really have to like, you really have to be in it for the long haul. These covers though are gorgeous, and I'm here for it. I've already read the first two, so I'm here. I'm here. All right. I'm excited about it. I have no idea where the series is going. There's also like a very like tragic love story throughout it. A very like Dances with the Wolves kind of tragic love story, Avatar kind of tragic love story, where it's like two people from rivaling races. Yeah, two rivaling races have fallen in love with each other because of this illusionary magic, and they're trying to find their way back to each other. And it's just everything. All right. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. Like I said, it's going to be a while, so hold your horses. The next ones are ones that I think that are on most people's radar or have already been talked about. Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This one comes out March 18th. So like next month is going to come out. There are bookstores near me who are doing midnight releases of this book. So I'm here to get hype with you. I think we have all begged and pleaded for Suzanne Collins to write this book, so it better be just as good as we were all expecting it to be. If you don't know, this is Haymitch's story from the Hunger Games. This is his games. I'm ready to be emotionally devastated. Like I'm tearing up just thinking about it because of like what we already know about Haymitch's story. And I have faith that Suzanne Collins is going to deliver, because I had no issue with, what was the other one? Her last book. I had no issue with that because it was from Snow's perspective, and it was like a villain book. It was a book for villains, all right? And I didn't mind it at all. I know some people were pretty disgusted by it, but I think that was also the point. But yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping, I'm here for it. I'm hoping that it's not just a money grab by publishers and Suzanne Collins herself. Hold on. Since we're just talking like we're friends, I'm just gonna pretend like we're talking like friends. Hopefully my microphone isn't picking this up too bad. Hold on. I won't talk while I do this. I don't know how this microphone works yet. The next book we're going to talk about is Calabasas by R.F. Kuang. This comes out August 26th. I'm currently reading Babel by R.F. Kuang, and I am taken aback by Babel. So I'm excited about Calabasas. I don't know what it's about. I've already seen people reading ARCs, which I'm just dying. I'm dying. Dante's Inferno meets Suzanne Clark's Piranesi in this all-new dark academy fantasy, which is what Babel is, which is what I'm obsessed with, in which two graduate students must put aside their rivalry and journey to hell to save their professor's soul, perhaps at the cost of their own. Like, I did not read The Poppy Wars because it was a little too graphic for my taste, which is fair because it's based in a very graphic part of history. So fair. All right. R.F. Kuang delivered on that. Babel might be my best read of 2025. I understand the hype. It is well deserved. I'm excited about Calabasas. I'll probably buy it as a new release. Two more books. The first one is The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. This one comes out May 20th. If you don't know, she's the author that wrote the Shepherd King trilogy. Duology. It's behind me. Yes, I loved that duology. It was a great romantasy, dark fantasy, dark romance duology. I really enjoyed it, so I know I'm going to enjoy this one. I actually don't know. Let me look it up real quick. I don't know. I have read the synopsis a couple times and it's still not sticking in my head. So let me read it to you. Maybe that'll be the thing. So this does look like it's part of a series. This is going to be considered a romantasy. A gothic mist-cloaked tale of a prophetess who is forced beyond the safety of her cloister on an impossible quest to defeat the gods with the one knight whose future is beyond her sight. Sybil has spent 9 years dreaming of having no dreams at all. Like the other Fondling girls who traded a decade of service for a home in the great cathedral, Sybil is a diviner. She receives visions, omens, that can predict things. Rude, heretical, and devilishly handsome, the knight Roderick has no respect for Sybil's visions, but when Sybil's fellow diviners begin to vanish one by one, she has no choice but to seek his help. Yeah. I think it's going to have the same atmosphere as The Shepherd King, which was very dark and spooky and like fantasy dark, not necessarily like dark romance, but fantasy dark romantasy. Can we make that a genre? I'm going to be interrupted. Yes.
You say done.
Not yet. Let mommy finish this. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, Bury Our Bones in Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab, which comes out June 10th. Apparently, this is female vampires in a toxic relationship. V.E. Schwab is writing about vampires, and it's been compared to The Interview with the Vampire, which means I'm here. I'm here for it. Let's go. I'm excited. I want to read it. For me, V.E. Schwab is very hit or miss. I feel like this with a lot of people. Tell me how I'm wrong, but it's either like you absolutely adore everything V.E. Schwab has put to paper, or like you're like, some things hit, some things don't. That's the general consensus that I've gotten about V.E. Schwab. What was the latest book that I read? What was her last book? Oh my gosh. I really don't like her middle grade. To be fair, middle grade V.E. Schwab is not my thing. I do like her more adult stuff. So hopefully this one will hit. Hopefully this will be it. That was my anticipated releases. So what are we doing for time? Oh. All right. Let's go over books that I want to read this year. The goal is to read a lot of nonfiction, which I'm going to get to in a second. But also, I have 2 classics here that I have been dying to read since starting this channel. I have been dying to read, but then I started my graduate studies and I have not had time to give these books the attention that I want to when I read them. So hopefully this year, I will have my graduate degree. I will graduate. I need to manifest that. Guys, send me good vibes. But The Count of Monte Cristo is the first one. All right. And War and Peace is the second book. When I graduate, these books are going down. Okay, I'm going to read them. I can't dedicate time to this and the time and effort that I want to dedicate this and like dissecting this, discussing it, bringing videos to the interwebs about these books. In order to do that, I want to spend time with them, like lots of time, and I don't have time right now. But these are goals for 2025. Now, that being said, other goals for 2025. I'm going to bring up my Amazon wish list because I've added some books. My grade school teacher would be so proud of me, and so would my mother, because I actually put nonfiction onto my reading list for this year. And I think that shows some development, all right? I will read classics. I will read lots of fiction. Nonfiction, it has to be good. It has to hit for me to want to read nonfiction. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that these are it. I've gotten these by recommendation. I have seen one of these books. We've taken the kids, it's summertime, I'm a mom. We've taken the kids to a lot of things, and I have seen this book in every single gift shop that we have been to. So I think I need to read it, and that is, let me find it real quick, The Rise and Reign of Mammals by Steve Brissett. It's a new history about mammals, obviously. I've seen it everywhere. I've decided that I'm going to read it. The last time I've read something like this was, what was the book? It was like Guns, Cows, Guns, Meat, something like that. It's over here. I read it for classes. I think that this one's going to give off the same vibes. I'm ready. I'm ready to dedicate that time to it. All right. The next one is Killers of the Flower Moon, which I'm going to read as well. This one, I just recently went to the Texas Ranger Museum with my husband. I'll put a photo or something like that up. It's about Texas Rangers. It's about like this mystery case they had out in like far west Texas, where they kept sending rangers to come, and I think it was like cows. I think people were killing cows or like stealing cows. So obviously, like, they send the rangers out there and they keep disappearing, and they have to figure out what's going on. I believe it's definitely like a, I think there's like native owned land that they were defending against the rangers, and a lot of dramatic like Yellowstone vibes is what I'm getting. So hopefully that's what that one is. The next one is All in Her Head by Elizabeth Coman, and this is the truth and lies of early medicine taught us about women's bodies and why it matters today. Very intriguing, very interesting. I also love the cover of this one. This is just, I feel like this is just one of those books that I want to read because it's something that I stand on a lot, is that women's bodies are mysteries, and I'm tired of them being a mystery. I think it's unfair in our medical society for our bodies to be such mysteries. It's just wrong. All right. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested to read this. I think that there, from my understanding, there's like a lot of fun, interesting fact sort of snippets, but also the in-depth, more serious discussion of why this still is, of why females can't get people to take them seriously in doctors' offices. All right. Which is crazy, seeing as like we're the ones who make humans. There's also another book. Let me grab it real quick. This one is Goddesses in Every Woman, Powerful Archetypes in Women's Lives, by John Shinoda Bolin. This one is just about our literature, basically books like women who have been in literature that we've talked about in our classes, your literature classes, your English classes, those archetypes that we have portrayed through history from females. And I'm interested, I'm intrigued. Something else that I like to stand on is that women who are really the bearers of history are not the women that we hear about, but the other women. The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna is a great example of this, if you ever read that. The women that stay home, that protect their families, that protect their houses, that do what society demands of them without looking for that heroism that other people's do, are the ones that history forgets, but are also the most important to history. The ones that continue society when all the men have gone to war, are just as important as your Rosie Riveters and your like any sort of like heroic female that you can think of. That most of the women who affect history don't make it into history books, and that's another pedestal I will stand on as soapbox that I will stand on. So I'm intrigued to read that one as well. I think that's it. I've only taken up like 30 minutes of your time. My camera's literally about to shut off. My kids are watching The Sandlot in the living room because it's a rainy day and I built them a tent. That's how I've gotten 30 minutes to myself. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for like chilling out with me. Right? Tell me about some of the books that you're excited to come out in 2025. Tell me about any books that you've had on your TBR for forever. You know, like you're just waiting for the right time to get to. And some of your goals for 2025. Tell me if any of these books sounded interesting to you or intriguing to you. And we will all collectively as a book group ignore that our TBRs, I'm assuming, and my TBR could take up an entire bookshelf, and we're just gonna keep pre-ordering. Keep the books coming in. Never, ever let the TBR get low, because that would be an absolute tragedy. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Hopefully you found it comfy, cozy, and chill as much as I did. Trying to make some of these videos where it's just like we're talking. we're just talking and discussing books, you know? That's it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you guys all next time. Bye.